Greetings. I wanted to take an opportunity to personally introduce myself to all of you. I'm sure you already know that my name is Irene Hershey, and since mid-September, I've been serving as your church administrator. I want to take just a few moments of your time today to let you know a little bit more about me. I have had the privilege of meeting several of you as you've popped into the office for various reasons, but I hope to eventually to meet many more of you. I will say, though, that once we don't have to wear these masks anymore, I will likely not recognize any one of you. Let me start by talking a bit about how this position came to be for me, because I truly believe that God led me here in a very different way. I have to admit that I was not searching for a new job. For 3 years prior to coming to Hempfield, I worked as a membership specialist for AAA Central Penn. I enjoyed the work I did there and the office that I worked in. So what happened? I would guess that most of you receive a copy of the merchandiser in your mailbox. I do too, and I typically throw it directly in the trash as I come in the door. However, on one momentous occasion, I carried the mail into my kitchen with me and was leafing through the merchandiser to pass the time while my dogs were outside. I came across the ad for the church administrator at the Hempfield Church of the Brethren. The ad stopped me, and something inside me said I should apply. So I did, not thinking that anything would particularly come of it. There was no pressure in applying since I wasn't looking for a new job and just felt that it was what I was supposed to do. I'm extremely thankful for God's prompting that has led me to you. Now a bit about me. I was born in Altoona, Blair County. We lived in the small town of Martinsburg until I was about 6 years old. My father's family lived in Florida, and we decided to move our family there. At the age of 12, my father passed away. My mother remarried after that, and we ended up living in Arizona, where I went to junior high and high school. My faith journey has been an interesting one. I was raised in a Christian home, but not necessarily a home that was particularly attached to a church. My grandfather was called into the pastorate through the Churches of God General Conference when my mother was young. However, when living in Arizona in my early 20s, there came a period when life really got rough, and my defining faith moment came at a very low point where I distinctly remember sitting on the porch and praying to God and promising that if He would help my mother and I out of the state we were in, I would dedicate my life to His service, whatever that turned out to be. Led me down a very fascinating path. My mother and I moved back to Martinsburg, and I became involved in the local Church of God. God gave me a heart for youth ministry, and I eventually took over the youth program at that church. We developed an awesome local ministry, but I felt that I needed to know more about biblical things to be able to reach and teach our youth effectively. So, off to college as a religion major I went. I graduated from what is now the University of Findlay in Findlay, Ohio, with a bachelor's degree in religion, secondary teaching certification in social psychology, a minor in psychology, and a minor in music. Following college, God directed my path in a very diverse way. I returned to my hometown and spent a year teaching at a Christian school in the Altoona area. Following that year, I got a job at a drug and alcohol rehab near my home. Additionally, during that time, I was also hired as the Director of Youth Ministry for the East Pennsylvania Conference of the Churches of God. In that position, I oversaw and supported local youth ministries and ran the conference-wide Bible quizzing program. Through the position at the rehab, I was sought after to move to a drug and alcohol counseling position in the Harrisburg area, so I moved here. I eventually left the Director of Youth Ministry position and began working in the Lebanon area full-time as a drug and alcohol counselor, and then added a part-time position at Philhaven Hospital as a psych assistant on the adult unit. It was through that position at Philhaven that I met my husband, Nelson. It was truly a conversation stopper when asked where we met, and we'd respond, at a psychiatric hospital. We were married in 1991, and in 1993, God blessed us with a set of twins, boy and girl, Rose and Grant. Nelson and I both still had a heart for youth and worked in several church-based organizations. In 2002, I lost Nelson to leukemia. It was a time of faith testing that I will never forget. When you're backed against a wall and you don't know where to turn, the scripture is the only way to make it through. I don't know how I would have handled all of that twins, and becoming a single mother without knowing that God had his hand on my life and would lead me through. Fast forward 18 years and here I am. I feel like God has brought me home. Even while he directs your path, there comes a time when he brings you to a place where you find peace and know you're where he wants you to be. I believe that Hempfield Church of the Brethren is that place right now. God led me here. I don't know the reason, but I do know that I'm glad that he did, and I look forward to getting to know many of you as we journey together. Thanks for listening.